sHiZ.
Okay, I'm recording a podcast now. I'm recording a podcast now, and this podcast is being recorded on this device here. So, but I have my roommate out here. You want to be on camera? You don't want to? Okay. You want me to say your name? What's your name? First name? His name is Travis. He doesn't want to be on camera, so I'm going to respect that, of course. All right, I'll start this recording up again once he leaves. As I was saying, I've been doing a podcast using this Philips Digital Pocket Memo, the DPM 9600. It's also the LFH 9600, and I'm actually using a product that Edis Distribution gave me to use as a demo for the interview. They haven't asked for it back. I sent him an email saying, hey, you want your unit back? I'll stop by. He said, no, hold on to it for a little bit. I'm not sure, but I'm going to act like it's mine. But if you ask for it back, of course, I'll definitely return it. But I'm going to go ahead and start this recording again. And I think I was talking about Xbox, right? Let me see.
Okay. If I got an Xbox, there'll be that always on feature.
So now I can start the recording up again. So in the next few days, next few days or a month or so, Microsoft is going to stop
sHiZ. sHiZ.
Hi, this is Antonio Edward, and this is the sHiZ audiocast, and I do apologize for the dogs in the background barking. I'm doing this in my backyard now because my wife is sleeping, and of course, when the wife is sleeping, then come on, you know what that means, right? You get time to yourself. But besides that, I'm in the backyard now. Just had some thoughts. Reading a lot of different posts on the internet about the up and coming releases. And every summer, every company comes out with something fresh and new to show off. But it all depends upon what it is. Apple, they don't have a whole lot of products to show off. Their main focus is hardware and software, which is Apple Macintosh computers, iMac, the MacBook, the Mac Mini, the iMac. It's just a lot of different products, and then of course they got the iPhone, the iPods, and the Apple TV, and then a few other. They also got some server architect hardware that they deploy as well. And so they have a lot of products, but basically the main focus is on laptops and tablets, and of course mobile phones, and that's what they always display in the WDC. Google, they have a wide variety of services, and so when they come up with stuff, they're going to have a lot of different conferences, or a very long conference for that matter, to discuss their new ventures that they're getting into. Like Google Plus was one of their big ventures. Google Drive, Google Apps, Google Search is something that they've been doing since the beginning of Google. And then I'm sure it's rumored that Google will be releasing a newer version of Google Apps, I guess, to be in competition with Microsoft with their Office 365 Wave 15 that was just released this past March. And so a lot of tenants of Office 365 have logged into the website at portal.microsoftonline.com on Office 365, and they saw a brand new site. And so now Google has to compete with that because there are a lot of new features on Office 365 that definitely blows Google Apps out of the water. Now, I'm not going to say there is anything wrong with Google Apps. Yes, there are a lot of things about Microsoft Office 365 that I'm like, why don't you start doing this? You need to add this feature. You need to add that feature. There are a lot of things about Google. I'm like, come on, Google. You can do better than that. And so every company, in my opinion, has certain things. I just want to make sure I put this out front. Has certain things about it that I don't like. Like, I'm a big fan of Microsoft, but there are some things that Microsoft does, and I'm like, really? And so I know when something's wrong and I know when something's right. And if I see where Apple has done something right, I'm like, damn, Apple, that was badass, you know? And when I see where Google has done right, I'm like, whoa, okay. All right, Google, you know, that was bad, you know, that was, whoa, you know. I wish Microsoft thought about that, but they didn't, you know. And so all these companies are competing with each other depending on what product they're trying to display. Like Apple and Microsoft are, well, Apple has been doing hardware since the beginning of its time with the Apple computers and then the Macintosh lineups, and now it's just the Mac. Basically the OS X systems that are now run on Intel-based microprocessors, whereas before it was run on Motorola. And so, in PowerPC technology. So, all these advances in technology, all these companies are taking advantage of that, where we're getting into the Microsoft Xbox and Sony PlayStation. There's several rumors on the next Xbox rumor, like the Xbox Infinity Plus, 360 Plus, 720. The biggest rumor and the most valid rumor is Xbox Infinity. It kind of makes sense. 360 is a full circle. Infinity means move forward from that, and it goes on forever and ever. So Infinity sounds like a more promising name of what their next Xbox is going to be called more than anything else. I wonder why they don't follow the 2000 series or, the year that, well, that's for enterprise. I guess if you think about it. All Microsoft business products are by year, and all consumer-based products is by version. But anyway, that's not here or there. And I'm very sorry, my allergies are really bad today. We had a couple of storms that passed by here last few days and brought in a lot of different allergens. Texas is very bad when it comes to allergens, so I do apologize. It's really killing me right now. But what I want to talk about is more about Microsoft products. And because I've seen a lot of articles where a lot of people favor what Microsoft is doing, and a lot of people don't favor what Microsoft is doing in a wide variety. So we're not just talking about enterprise stuff. We're not just talking about consumer stuff. We're going to talk about Microsoft as a whole. Because a lot of people seem to believe that because Windows Phone and Surface is not doing that well in the marketplace as compared to Google tablets and phones and Apple iPhone and iPad, that Microsoft is going to go by the wayside. That is, a lot of people have to really think that Microsoft doesn't just build Windows and Microsoft Office and also, the Surface and design the OS for Windows Phone. That's not their only purpose. There's a lot of different things that they do that makes them very relevant in the marketplace. Windows is still the number one selling OS in the world. That's just, you just got to imagine that. And that's simply, and that, the one big reason is that a lot of corporations use Windows products. Now we have options though. Ever since Macintosh has come out, especially the later versions of Macintosh in 2000 and above, OS X has become a big, decision maker for IT personnel. And if you look at Hollywood, like TV studios and movie companies, like 20th Century Fox and Fox TV and ABC, they mostly have Macs on their desk. And that's simply because a lot of people who work in Hollywood are just Mac savvy. And that simply is, and to think about this, think about it like this. When Macintosh was assigned, it was assigned to be the desktop publishing, the graphics designing, and video editing platform. At the time, PCs weren't powerful enough. In fact, there was no PC powerful enough. So you had to buy hardware acceleration products to install in the computer or sit beside it in order to process the video and the graphics. Sorry, my allergies. And so you have to really work with the Mac in order to make it fast enough to handle, even just standard definition video. The computers weren't fast enough for it. And so, but Macintosh was the main platform that people chose. Microsoft and their software partners did not really concentrate that much on video graphics and desktop publishing at the time. It was all about business, like how to crunch numbers in Excel, how to design or create a Word document. Just basic office stuff. That's what Microsoft concentrated on when it comes to the business world. How it became the number one product for desktops in homes, that's because, think about it like this too, PCs are cheaper. They are. You can go out and buy a PC for $500, but if you want, and it will be a decent computer. It will be very decent. But when you have a PC, think about the performance of a PC. If you get a PC with the same performance as a Macintosh, that Mac will be hundreds of dollars more than a PC. So a Windows computer is definitely a lot cheaper. So you can go out and buy a really nice, okay, I know desktop is going by the wayside, okay, but you can get a really nice desktop for like $400, probably even $300, with a decent processor. It's not going to be the best. You're not going to have the best video RAM, but if you have a grandmother or that's not even put that way, because I know a lot of older people like me. I'm 41, but a lot of older people who are very savvy with computers. So let's not even put grandmas in there. So that's my apologies. But you have a person who is not that savvy at computers, and they come to you being the geek and the total computer nerd, or just a savvy person with computers, and they ask you what's a good computer to buy. But their budget is limited. So you're like, hey, I know you can get this, an i3, Intel processor with, 4 gigs of RAM, because, you don't want them to be hung up all the time when they try to open up stuff. 2 gigs is probably the bare minimum that you want to, that's probably like, you don't want to go any lower than 2 gigs. I think 4 gigs is good enough to do simple web browsing, open up Windows Mail to check your emails, or just open up Chrome or Internet Explorer, or if you use Firefox, just kind of introduce them to different platforms. But you got to remember, as geeks, we should not choose a platform for them. We should give them information and let them choose for themselves. So if you're really into Mac, don't get everybody a Mac. Let them choose for themselves, because a Chromebook may be good enough for them. And a Chromebook is not cheap, but it's not expensive either. Let them choose, but that's a whole different discussion. I know. I'm kind of going off here, but yeah, Windows computers is very cheap. So a lot of people, instead of saying, "Oh, I want that Mac," which at the time, yes, it could do a lot more, they went with PCs. But you got to imagine that. Why would someone buy a $600 Mac that can do all these wonderful graphics and designs when they're not going to really use it for all that, and all they're going to use it for is just simple web browsing, maybe play a couple games here and there? So you get them a $300 computer that is just as good as the $600 Mac, and you're good to go. Me, myself, and I mean, okay, my budget is very limited right at this moment. If you watch my vlogs, you'll see that, but money has been, a little slow lately. But the fact is, if I want to buy a really nice laptop, most likely I'll get a laptop or a tablet, or, / laptop, whatever it is. What is it now? Laplet or a tab top? I don't know what they call it these days. But you get one of those hybrids, as they call it now. And those are usually really expensive. So what I'll probably do is I'll get a laptop that costs like $500, and I'll have an Intel i5 processor with at least 6 gigs of RAM. I can always upgrade that to 8 gigs later. RAM is expensive, but it's not that expensive. If I get the 6 gigs of RAM now, I can always upgrade it to 16 gigs later, if that laptop has the capability. And then a decent video processor. Now, I'm not into playing games like Call of Duty and Medal of Honor. I'm not even, my wife is a really big WoW player, but I don't even play WoW. I don't play any of those games. So what I need is a computer with a decent, like a good, not the best, but a good video processor, because I do want to edit video, high definition video. And the programs that I use does take advantage of the video architecture of the computer, the hardware, the extra big video card, whatever comes with that computer. And so if I have a really good video card and a lot of RAM and a good processor, I can render videos rather quickly, and I can process those videos rather quickly, and editing the videos will be rather quick. Now, so this is why a lot of people chose PC, and that's why a PC ended up on everybody's desk over a Mac. There's nothing wrong with Mac computers. There isn't. Okay, there isn't nothing wrong with all. But for a person who is really into downloading programs and really getting into a lot of different stuff that the PC can run, a PC is probably a better choice for them than a Mac, because Mac doesn't have every single software out there. Macs you have to admit, they are very limited. They run good. I mean, they're good computers. I mean, they're probably one of the best, the hardware and the software. But in my personal opinion, and I guess this is probably being biased, in my personal opinion, and I'm saying I'm being biased, okay? It's hard to be non-biased. This is my channel. I can say whatever I want anyway. But in my opinion, a Macintosh doesn't feel right to me. But that's probably because a Macintosh is what I'm not used to. Now, if money gets really good for me, I probably won't get a MacBook. Or I'll probably get an iMac. That's what I'll probably do. I'll probably get an iMac. A nice big screen iMac with, upgraded RAM. And so at least I have an Apple product on my desk, sitting to the side. So that I can at least refer to the Mac and compare differences between a Mac and a PC. If money was no issue, I have a badass PC desktop on my desk, a badass Mac on my desk, and then a Microsoft Surface that I can take with me on the road, and even a desktop, with more power than the Surface can be. But anyhow, so that's how that happened, and that's still the case today. Yes, the Microsoft Surface Windows 8 Pro, which is what everybody really wants over the RT, because there really isn't a lot of software for Windows RT. You have to admit that, and for Windows Phone. So, but you get the Windows 8 Pro, and it's like $1,000. It's like $900. It's like what, $900 for the base model, and like what, $1,100, $1,200 for the 128 gigabyte of RAM, of memory, and already the OS is taking up almost half of that. So so a Microsoft Surface for a person who is looking at a budget may not be the right thing for them, but there are other computers out there, like a really good laptop that's lightweight, that can flip all the way around, so that it can act like a laptop, and then you flip it again, and it's a desktop, or a laptop, I mean. You can turn it into a tablet or a laptop. And those computers run for like $500 or $600. They're not that expensive. Compare that to a Mac of the same performance and value, and you're spending like maybe $800 or $900. I do, and remember I told you that, sometimes some things that Microsoft does, I'm like, really? When they release the price, when they finally put up the price on their website for the Windows RT base model, and it was like, $400, $500, I'm like, oh. Because I was really thinking it was going to be like $200 or maybe even $300. I was thinking maybe highest $350. And in my opinion, I think that's what the Windows RT Microsoft Surface is worth. I think it's worth no more than $350. I hope at some point they start reducing that price, because there are not a lot of apps out there, and I always said that I would like to still run desktop software, because there are a lot of companies that are designing software but it's not going to run on Windows 8 RT very well. It has to be on Windows 8 Pro or Windows 8, basically. And just to let you guys know, Windows RT is simply called Windows RT, which is the Windows 8 UI, but it doesn't have desktop capability. You only get the option to run Microsoft Office and desktop. But so I mean, where was I at? Kind of got off track here. Now, let's talk about some other stuff, because that was basically consumer-based products, and of course you can buy computers for business, and so a lot of businesses will still buy desktops, so desktops will still be around for a while, because you have a lot of, and I'm going to say very frankly, lower paid employees who come to work. They don't take their work home. They come to work, they clock in, they sit in a cubicle, and they work on their desktop computer. The company does not want them to take the computer home. So naturally, why give them a laptop or a tablet or anything like that? You give them simply a desktop computer to come to, which is a big machine. I'm really thinking that companies should invest in buying all-in-ones, because then it reduces the clutter on the desk, and that's neither here nor there. Okay, so your desktops will still be around. Now, for the average user, like for people like you and I, okay, people like your next door neighbor, they may want to be more mobile, and so therefore they're going to most likely buy laptop computers. Now, for those who are really into gaming, for you gamers out there who need the best video processor, the 50 million gigabytes of RAM, and you just want the best of the best, a desktop is probably a better choice for you. A desktop is probably a better choice because you can expand upon it. It's easier to upgrade on a desktop than it is to do on a laptop. Okay. So when you're working in that environment, and you need desktops, desktops will still be relevant for a very long time. In fact, if I ran a company and I had a group of video editors that only want Macs to edit on because of iMovie or I don't know, Final Cut Edit Pro, whatever, I don't know what the name of it is, but that Final Cut Edit Pro, that software that Apple releases, and there are many other editing programs that you can use on a Mac. I'm going to get them a one of the best Macintosh computers that is available. So I'll go to the Apple Store, find out what's the best one, highest RAM, the i7 Intel processor, and all that, because I want them to have the best, so that they're not restricted in their creativity, and it's more efficient and proficient. But and of course, anybody who wants a Windows computer, I'll get them the best Windows computer that can handle the job. As far as when it comes to this, especially when it comes to design, video editing and stuff like that, high definition or 4K video, stuff like that. So you definitely need some really good processing power to handle all that, and a really good video card. And so desktops are not going to go away anytime soon. But I did a post on my website, and this was like last year when Windows 8 was released, and I said that the desktop screen, the desktop UI, is what's going to go away. That, I'm telling you folks, I'm going to guarantee it. By the time that Windows 10 come out, companies, developers will be forced to rewrite their software just a little bit. It's not the program itself that's going to be rewritten. Imagine that the calculations and everything that goes on behind, the stuff that you don't see, is not going to change. It's just the interface. And you're still going to have just as much power. So if you're running like Sony Vegas Pro, it's a video editing software. It's one of my favorites. I think they're up to version 11 now. I remember I've seen version 10, but I think they're up to version 11 now. But all that's going to change is the interface. So the look of it, the Windows 8 UI, that Segu font, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sega. Anyway, and so it's going to use that. It's going to use all those same characteristics that you see in most applications, but it's going to still be powerful Windows 8 UI, Metro, whatever you want to call it, modern UI. I don't think Microsoft even has a name for it yet. That is going to be where everything's going to go because they're trying to make it simplified, and it's not simplified as far as the performance or usability, and yes, that is part of it, usability, but it's the look. The look is going to be simplified. It's not going to be 3D and all that stuff like you're used to seeing. It's going to have that flat look, which makes the computer faster because the computer doesn't have to process all the shadowing and the opaqueness of it. It's going to be able to just worry about the program itself, which is what you want, right? You want things to run a little bit faster. Granted, a Windows RT, Microsoft Surface, is not a great tablet to run some powerful games. But a Windows 8 Pro knocked it out of the box. Now, it doesn't have the best video card on it. In fact, it has a very simple video card on it, so because it's not designed for that. That Microsoft Surface they have out today is simply designed to be a business machine that is capable of running games as long as you turn down some of the settings a little bit. Not as much shadowing, maybe you have to turn down some of the detail, but still looks pretty good. I've seen videos online where people were able to run Medal of Honor and WoW and many other games. I'm not a gamer, so if I got some of these names wrong, I do apologize. But they were to run certain games without a whole lot of problems. But all they said was in the review they said it's just that you do have to turn down some of the settings. But if you want a more powerful machine, you definitely want to get either a really good laptop with a NVIDIA or ATI video card, or you get a desktop with a bitchin' ass video card. You know, what would you rather prefer? A tiny little 10-inch tablet that you could take anywhere with you almost? Or a laptop that's kind of big, you can take with you, but it's a little heavy and thick and big because in order to fit all that stuff into it, it's got to be big. Or a desktop that you can't take anywhere with you because you have to unplug everything in order to move it. It all depends upon you. It really does. I would rather have a nice 10-inch tablet that I can take around with me, and if I need the power in the belly of the plane in my suitcase wrapped around my clothes will be my actual laptop, which has the power that I need, that I can use when I need it. And because I have SkyDrive, there you go. Now, I did a lot of concentration on consumer-based products, but I really want to delve into business, but there is still a lot of consumer-based stuff we want to talk about, so I'll touch base on that. Xbox. The next Xbox, a lot of rumors before. There was a recent rumor that came out that seems more definite than the other rumors that was mentioned before. But a lot of people thought it was going to be called Xbox 360 Plus. There were other people who thought it was going to be called Xbox 720. And but Xbox Infinity with the little infinity symbol seems like a better, more like what Microsoft would call it because of the 360 title, which is a complete circle. You know, it never ends because this just goes round and round, no curves. It just keeps going with like a free-flowing river, like a lazy river. The Xbox Infinity means infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear. Okay, it's going, and I do believe that will be the name of the next Xbox. But hey, only Microsoft knows. And everybody who works at Microsoft has to sign non-disclosure agreements. Things will get leaked, but basically you really don't know what it is until it actually comes out. I remember hearing that before Microsoft released Microsoft Surface, I read a lot of reports, people saying, yep, they're going to design their own computer. And it's going to be the first time ever that Microsoft's done that. And a lot of OEMs will be pissed. OEMs are, people who don't know, are other companies like Samsung, Acer, Lenovo, Asus, HP, Dell, IBM. There are a lot of companies that build computers and install Windows software on it. Just look at your desktop or laptop. You'll see the company that's printed on there. Now about the Xbox. The Xbox is a great gaming device, and it has been for many, many years. It's become a lot more popular to buy than the PlayStation 4. Now, I think another reason for that is simply that cost. When the PlayStation 3 came out, or any version of iteration of PlayStation, it was always a lot more expensive. And the PlayStation had better graphics, or has better graphics than the Xbox does, but people bought Xbox because it was simply more affordable. It wasn't that much. It was a little bit less cheaper, just a little bit though, than the PlayStation. But I think another thing that really made Xbox big was also Connect. When people were able to get Connect, you can buy it, with it, with combo packages and all that. Those are great, innovative technologies, and I think that was probably in response to the Wii U, or to the Wii. I'm not a gamer, so I apologize. But with those controllers where you can play tennis, as long as you had the controller in your hand, it had the sensitivity to know when it's going up, down, left, right, and front and back. It had that capability where it wirelessly transmitted that information over to the Nintendo system, and that's how you're able to control what's happening on the screen. Now, Xbox came out with, or Microsoft came out with Kinect, and all you gotta do is stand in front of a camera and just make sure you have enough room so that the camera can pick you up, and the sensors, and that's how you interact with the game without the need for a controller. The controller is still a big part of Xbox, but people are using Xbox to watch movies on Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. I'm not sure if Vudu is a part of that too. I have a subscription of, not actually a subscription on Vudu. You actually buy the movies. You buy them and it's yours. You can watch them anytime. Only bought one, Avatar. So anytime I can watch Avatar if on a computer or a system that has Vudu plug-in. But you can watch Netflix and Hulu and watch all your TV shows, all your movies, right on the computer or on Xbox, and display it on your big screen, high definition, 1080p, 70-inch TV, LED. With Retina display. Anyway, Apple should make a TV and say, we got the first Apple TV Retina display. Wow, 70-inch. Anyway, so this is what we're looking at today, folks. And Xbox. Now, PlayStation 4. If things happen overnight, they do. Things do happen overnight. What we may see is that the PlayStation may outdo Xbox. We don't know, because Sony has not released any information about the Xbox at all. They haven't. All they said was, we're going to make a big announcement on this particular date, and then everybody get to see what the next PlayStation 4 is going to be like. Same thing is going to happen at the Microsoft conference for Xbox. We're going to see the new advances that Microsoft has come out with for the next iteration of Xbox. So, but for many years, Xbox won over PlayStation when it comes to the amount of machines it sold. Of course, that given the fact that Microsoft does have, a lot more money than Sony does. But, the fact is, Xbox outdid Sony. Now, that could change tomorrow. When the PlayStation 4 come out, that may outdo Microsoft. We don't know. We just have to wait and see, right? Sony's PlayStation could be way better than Xbox, and Xbox can still win. The Xbox can be way better than Sony, but Sony can still win. Because it all depends upon what people like and how they market it. It's all about marketing, people. That's what it's all about. And I think that's one reason why Microsoft, going to another subject here, is not doing that well in the Windows Phone department, in Surface, tablet, Windows 8, stuff like that. It's simply because of marketing. They're not really marketing it correctly. Now, yes, they come up with some really good commercials. like the wedding commercial for Windows Phone, where the Samsung people were fighting the Apple people, and it was a really funny commercial. I really enjoyed it. But the fact is, it's all about how they market, and they have to do a lot of marketing. That's one thing that Apple has over Microsoft. Apple knows how to market, even if their product is crap. And let me tell you something, folks. The iPhone was a great product. Yes, is a great product. Well, I want to say was. I had to correct the first time, because up until the iPhone 4S, up to that point, the iPhone is a great and beautiful product. The iPhone 5 guts is awesome. The guts of it is awesome. But I just didn't like the exterior design. I'm sorry. I love the feel of the iPhone 4, and I love the feel of the iPhone 3. But I'm telling you, it just did not feel right in my hands. In my hands. I got big hands, and I really did not like the way it felt. It was too lightweight. A lot of people like that, though. But see, that's my opinion. I have every right, to choose what I like. And unfortunately, the iPhone only comes in one style. The only difference is the memory. You can get one with more memory than the other. But so there's not really a whole lot of choices. And you only can get white and black. Only two colors. So because I don't have a lot of options with iPhone, that's it. I mean, if I really wanted an iPhone, I'm going to have to get the design that I don't like, or stick with the iPhone 4, and not have all the features of iPhone 5. So that's I don't know. But let's go back to Xbox. I think Xbox is going to come up with some really good stuff, but will it take off like the Xbox 360 did? We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. I mean, we just have to wait and see. But Xbox, they come up with Xbox Live. The always on feature may not be a great idea, Microsoft. Sorry. It will be good to have your Xbox on all the time, so that it can get, you can play people online, and you have access to Netflix and Hulu and all the other online features that you can do on an Xbox. But will people go for that always on thing? I mean, a lot of people, all they want to do is inject a disk into an Xbox, not worry about it being connected with the Windows Live ID, and just playing their game. They don't care about achievements and all that stuff. They just want to play. My roommates, they play Call of Duty. I don't know which version. The one with the zombies, I guess. I'm not a game player, so excuse me on that. But and they're not really worried about it being online because they play themselves. They're not worried about hooking up with somebody that's in Asia or Europe and playing with them or against them. They just like playing on the machine. It's not that big of a concern for a lot of people. So the always on feature is a great idea, but I think it should be optional. Okay? If I buy an Xbox, it will be that always on feature. So in the next few days, next few days or a month or so, Microsoft is going to stop release information about the next iteration of Xbox, and of course Sony's going to do the same. So we're all going to see what's going to come up behind it. It's kind of hard to really talk about what's going to be like, because even though I like to do predictions and I love, it's exciting. It's like, okay, it could be this, it could be that. The fact is, we don't know. No one knows except for the people who are in Microsoft themselves, who are actually working on the project. Even if you work at Microsoft, you don't know what it is. You have to actually be working on the project. But Microsoft has released information about a new product that can be added to the Xbox called Alumni Room. Alumni Room, I think it's called. Illumination Room. But it's Alumni Room. My pronunciation is really bad right now. Okay. And what it does is you have a projector that sits in your coffee table, or it can sit behind you on the couch, and it projects images around your TV. So while you're playing a game, there are explosions going on. The explosions can go beyond the effects of the TV. You can also do highlights of certain scenes that could fill up your whole entire wall. And there's a connected to that projector that will determine the size and shape of everything that's in front of it, so that it can be projected in a good way, so that stuff can bounce off your furniture. Or if your wall is kind of curved a little bit, it will know how to project the image without it being so bad. And also, what's good about that is, if you got different color stuff on your wall, let's say you have like wallpaper, or let's say brown furniture, it would adjust the color of that particular pixel so that everything still looks the same. So it's not off colored, it will be in color. No matter what your color your furniture is. I imagine if you have like a black entertainment center, that probably won't be that well. But I think there are going to be some limitations on that, because everybody's home is designed differently. Some people have TVs in a corner of a room. The ideal situation for how you want to set up your entertainment center is that you have your TV against a flat wall, like they do in a movie theater. But some people don't have homes configured that way, or they really don't care, and they have a TV in a corner, and that may not be a good solution for the Illumini room. Illumini room, that's it. Okay. So that's something that Microsoft is working on. I mentioned that before in a previous vlog, and it's a really exciting video that Microsoft put out on the Microsoft Research YouTube page. And I'll probably provide the link so that you guys can check it out in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put the description below there. If you're listening to this on my website, I'll also put the description or the links to the different videos I'm mentioning now. And also I'm going to link all the articles that kind of got me to thinking about some things about Microsoft and where it's headed in the future. A lot of predictions, a lot of people are saying, yeah, Microsoft, there's nothing's going to happen with that. A lot of people are saying that Microsoft has a good stronghold, and they're not going to go anywhere. Now, this is what a lot of people tend to forget, is that Microsoft has a hold on a lot of different enterprise solutions. Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Communicator, now called Microsoft Link, Microsoft Exchange, and Windows Server. Microsoft Exchange, I'm going to kind of explain this to you guys real quick so that you guys have an idea. If you ever worked at a place and used Microsoft Outlook, most likely 90% of the time your company used Microsoft Exchange for the email. It's a program that manages email for a corporation. Emails, distribution groups. Some of you guys probably are familiar with distribution groups, security groups, that allows you to send emails to multiple people. And if you use security groups, that gives access to certain parts of SharePoint, or access to different things that you have set up in your workplace. And so if you a person that's set up access, all you got to do is add them to a particular security group, and then they have access, at least within 24 hours. Sometimes it takes time for it to update. So that's Microsoft Exchange. It's also your calendar, scheduling, your task manager, and contacts manager. That's what Microsoft Exchange does, and it does it for your whole entire corporation. You can also set up public folders and stuff like that. And what's good is in the next iteration of Office 365, public folders will be enabled. It was disabled before because Microsoft was trying to get people to use SharePoint to store files than using public folders in Exchange. But there are so many corporations that are so used to working with public folders that they enabled it on the Microsoft Exchange server so that corporations could have public folders for their employees. And so, again, you sign a security group, you create a security group, and you add people to that security group, and they have access to that public folder. Or you can leave it open for anybody to get access to. It's like a message board, and you can post files, comments, and replies, and you can also turn it into a public email like info@something.com. and that could be an email that anybody can access in Microsoft Outlook, so that they can answer emails that are coming into the info at. So yeah, you can set up Exchange to pretty much run the whole company. Exchange has a lot of different features, as well as like voicemail feature and also routing of your calls. When it comes to like what happens when the person doesn't answer the phone, it goes to a voicemail. You can set up to run voicemails on your internal networks, so that can be taken care of as well. So Exchange has a lot of different features on it that a lot of corporations really don't take advantage of every feature that Exchange has. They really don't. The popular client for Exchange is Outlook, which is made to run Exchange application, the Exchange on premise or in the cloud very well. And so that's why people use Exchange, because it just works together. They got the software and the hardware, or the software on the server as well as client-side software. So that's a good thing. SharePoint, for those of you who don't know, is like a local intranet. It's where people can go and share ideas. They can set up different sites for different departments or teams or both, and it's a place where a managers can put out some good information, and it's like a one-stop source to store documents as well. People think of SharePoint as a document storage only, but it's not just that. I mean, SharePoint has a lot of different features. You can take notes in it for meetings. It has capabilities to take meeting notes, agendas, to hold agendas, to store documents, of course, and you can store documents in a very smart way. It has a great search feature, as long as you, the administrator, incorporate some good policies to ensure that the documents can be searched. Because when you upload a document, SharePoint reads the information on the document and stores it in search. And so when a person is searching for something, even if it's stored inside of a Word document, it will find it very easily. You can also use Microsoft Project, CRM, ERB, and let's see, and other Microsoft products can connect to SharePoint very easily, just because it's on their system. And so SharePoint is a great intranet site. You got Microsoft Link, which is an upgrade to Communicator. For many years, Communicator was the local chat program for internal communications of the company, and it had the capabilities of doing audio, video, as well as chat only. And of course, according to the administrators, they can set who has access to what. You can have meetings, but with the new link, you can actually have full-fledged meetings like you could with live meeting. So what they did was they took live meeting and Communicator, combined it into one software package, so that corporations can actually have meetings online, video, audio. They can show off PowerPoint presentations, desktop, and other applications can be routed through Link, so that everybody can see what the presenter is trying to show, and everybody can participate based on the rights that are given to everybody in that particular meeting. And that can be scheduled in Outlook. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I can see what Microsoft's trying to do. They're trying to take all their software and all the products that they have, which were separated before, and make it as one. So Microsoft Office works with SharePoint. It works with Microsoft Link and Communicator, which also works with Exchange, and it's just one. It's a bunch of stuff that works off of one system, one kernel, if you want to say it that way, but it's not really. There are different servers, different things that are going, but it's working as one. And you can make it all communicate with each other very nicely. And it takes a really good IT person to make it work flawlessly if you're doing it on premise. Excuse me, allergies. Now, if you're using Microsoft Office 365, what's good about that is that you are able to set up where Microsoft handles all the server-side applications. All you got to do is have your employees sign up or log in every single day, and they have access to a system that's already monitored by Microsoft with minimum downtime. And so that's a good thing. And even though it has limitations, there are a lot of features that are there that where the limitations can be overlooked. So that's a great thing. And so, I mean, we're talking about Microsoft Office, SharePoint, Link, Exchange, Windows Server, which is really good. And then Microsoft has a service called Windows Azure, which is a system where a lot of companies have, proprietary software, or they have server applications, and they need a place to store the stuff. Well, if you're a small company, especially, you can run the proprietary software off of Microsoft servers and let Microsoft do the work. As far as, when it comes to maintaining the servers, all you have to worry about is just installing the software, and it works. And also, they can do Active Directory in the cloud. So you don't have to run Active Directory servers. You can run websites off of Windows Azure. So there's a lot of different features that Windows Azure has, and it's all cloud-based technology. So that's a really great thing to add. You can add it to your Active Directory. And Office 365 can also be run off your Active Directory, so that everything works as one. You get one login for every service that you have, as long as the software that you installed has Active Directory type stuff, or LDAP or something. So that's Windows Server. And so Microsoft has a hold on a lot of different organizations. A lot of city governments are using Office 365, counties, states using Office 365, and then you have others that are using on-premise where they host it themselves, in a secure database somewhere or data center somewhere, and they run it themselves. So you have the choice to either go in the cloud or to do it yourself. And doing it yourself means you have to hire a huge IT infrastructure, because not everybody is knowledgeable about every single thing. You have people who are knowledgeable about Exchange, Link, and you have another person who is knowledgeable about SharePoint. So you have to have administrators for each one of those, and they all talk together to create this one awesome machine to keep the company running. And then, of course, you have people who know about Windows Server. So you have to have all these people work together, and that's a lot. I mean, that's a very high overhead, because everybody knows IT is an expenditure. It doesn't create revenue. But you have to have them, because in order to have the services that you want your company to use, you need to hire these IT people so that you can get revenue. So even though in the books, IT department, that's why people get laid off a lot in IT. But on the books, it's an expenditure, but it's a must need. You must have these people. Now, with Office 365, you don't have to have such a large IT personnel. If you're a very small company, you can probably do away with not having any IT personnel in the company, as long as you have, yourself or somebody there that's a little bit of, computer savvy, just a little bit. And then for mid-sized businesses, you can probably hire one or two people just to, make sure that all the computers in your offices are running fine. Everybody's able to connect to Link and access your site to do password resets, stuff like that. And then for larger corporations, you might have one or two IT personnel for every location that your business is located. That's recommended. Or you hire a outsource IT staff, which a lot of companies are doing these days. It's like on call. You pay a certain amount a month, and you can always call them up to do certain things. And they have packages, stuff like that you can work with, and they'll make sure that they maintain your computers and also administer the Office 365 site if you need to do anything special. And so those are like small to mid-sized businesses. They have 3 different levels of packages. They got the small business. I can't think on top of my head because I'm not in front of a computer right now, just to let you know. But there are 3 different packages, and the small one is the small business package. You can get up to like 100 people. I think up to 250 now people on that, and that's a limit. You can't have no more than 250 users, and it's very limited. You only get one site on SharePoint, and you can also pay a little bit more to get Microsoft Office updated and paid for without having to pay the upfront fees for licensing. Then you have there's a middle package which offers a few more features, and then there's an enterprise package. We can have anywhere between 1 user and 50 million users. It's unlimited. If you have a company that has 50 million users, 50 million employees, you can run it on the enterprise side. So, and then of course you can go to dedicated. They don't advertise that on the site, but dedicated means that it's your servers. You have to run your own service on your side, but it allows you to have Office 365 in the cloud, but you have full access to all the system parameters and everything. So that's a cool thing, but that service is not recommended for any mid-sized companies. And so these are the reasons why that Microsoft is relevant. Now, Google has a similar service. It's called Google Apps. You got Google Docs, you got Google Drive where you can store files, you got Google Sites where you can set up like internet sites where there's public or internal only, Google Mail, Calendar, Contacts, all that stuff is available. And if set up correctly, you can make it work really nicely for your company. I do have Google Apps because I use Google Apps, and I got it when it was free. You know, it was up to 10 users for free. Any more than that, you got to pay for. But they discontinued the free model. But anybody who had Google Apps before they discontinued it are able to maintain that account. And so I have up to 10 users for free. And what I do is I set it up that way, and then I create my different YouTube channels through that, and so that I can have a one system that runs all the YouTube channels. Now, Google Apps I really don't use so much, like the actual service itself. I personally, I really don't like how Google does their intranet sites and the document management. What's good about it is that everything is done online. You don't need Microsoft Office. You can do everything online, and even though there are, if you upload a Microsoft Word document, let's say a company sent you a Microsoft Word document, you upload it to Google Drive on your Google Apps account, or even in your personal Gmail account, it will mess up the formatting. So let's say you make some edits, you save it, and you send the document back to the user, or to the person that sent it to you, it may screw up the formatting. And that's been an issue with Google Docs forever. Now, here's the thing though. With the next iteration of Google Apps, that may change. We don't know yet. Some things like that can change. Who knows? We'll see what happens, okay? But what's good about Google Apps is that all the services of Google, it's a Google ID, so you can use any service of Google by way of Google Apps. So like YouTube and AdSense, AdWords, stuff like that, Google Hangout, Google Talk. And so you have access to all these different services. Whereas on Microsoft Office 365, it's limited to SharePoint, Link, and Exchange, and stuff like that. But any of the Windows Live services that they have, you're not going to be able to have. But what's great is that the next iteration of Office 365, which was released last month, you can have SkyDrive Pro installed. And so all your files that are in the My Sites, which they rebranded as SkyDrive, can now be synchronized onto your computer. So you have the files on your computer as well as on the Microsoft servers, and you can share it to anybody you want. Plus, you can subscribe to other document storage on SharePoint, and it will synchronize those documents. So instead of opening up SharePoint, you can just go into your SkyDrive Pro folder and open up the document just fine. People have asked, can you run your personal SkyDrive as well as SkyDrive Pro with your Office 365 account at the same time? Yes, you can. It's just 3 different folders. I said 3, right? There's one folder for your personal account. It's called SkyDrive. Another folder called SkyDrive Pro, and another folder, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like SkyDrive, SharePoint, something like that, or Sites. And so basically, you have 3 different folders that you can store files. And you can drag and drop files into those folders, and lo and behold, it shows up on SharePoint when you hit refresh. So those are different features. Now, Microsoft has a similar feature to the browser-based Word application, Excel, and presentation software, whereas they have what is called Office web apps. And so if you have a user who doesn't have Microsoft Office installed on their computer, they can open up that document in SharePoint itself, or in Exchange, in an email. If it's an attachment, they can open up Office web apps, and they'll open it up. They can make adjustments to it, save it, and then it will save it into SharePoint, back into SharePoint, just like it would if you open it up in Microsoft Word itself. Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office on your computer has more features. Office web apps has limited features, but it doesn't ruin your formatting. It keeps everything the same. So if you open it back up in Microsoft Word, all the formatting that you had, all the layouts and everything remains the same, no matter how much was done on Office web apps. So if you ask me, Microsoft is not going anywhere anytime soon, but they do have to stay on top of it. As long as Microsoft stays on top of it as far as improving how Office web apps work, adding more features to SharePoint, Exchange, Link, if they, adjust their pricing just a little bit to make it more comfortable for businesses, because Office 365 is more expensive than Google Apps by $1. It's like $5 for Google Apps no matter what, and then Office 365 has several plans, and it gives you, those plans offer you more features. The more you pay, up to like $24 per person per user per month. Per user per month, I guess you could say. And it's a 1-year contract. Now remember, Google Apps is also a 1-year contract. So it's $50. You can pay $50 up front, or you pay $5 a month and get Google Apps. So those kind of things that you have. And when people say Microsoft is not relevant anymore, yeah, Windows Phone is not doing that well. It's getting better. More and more people are getting Windows Phone, slowly but surely. But when a new iPhone comes out, or Galaxy S4, or HTC One, comes out, people go into the stores in droves to get those phones. They go to the Apple Store and get those, and they're the first ones to get it. Whereas Windows Phone, they come up with a new phone, and they're like, there's a small line, and it's not as much community for Windows Phone as there is for iPhone and Android. Does that mean that iPhone is better? No. Does it mean that Android is better? No. Am I saying that Windows Phone is better? In my opinion, yes, but no. Here's what I mean. In my opinion, I think Windows Phone is the best phone out there. But does it mean that it's better than Android and iPhone? No. This is what I've always said. If your company uses Google Apps, and let's say, you own a company and you want to provide a phone for everybody, and you're using Google Apps for your, document storage, email, calendar, contacts, and internet site, then get a Google phone. Your phone will work better, an Android phone will work better with Google Apps than any other phone out there. Yes, an iPhone can do it too, so can Windows Phone, but it's a little, you have to modify, and it's too much. It's a lot of things you have to do to make it work. Okay? If you like iPhone is not a good corporate phone. I don't care how much you look at it, it's not a good corporate phone, even though it does have Microsoft Exchange. What you have to do with iPhone, you have to add applications and mods in order to make it work in a corporate environment. But out of the box, an iPhone is not a corporate phone. It isn't. Out of the box, an Android phone is more of a corporate phone if your company uses Google Apps. Yes, it's got Microsoft Exchange. Yes, it handles the emails. Okay. In my opinion, Microsoft Exchange on Android is not that great. In my opinion. Google Apps works best with Android than Windows Phone does, than iPhone does. Okay? Apple doesn't have any enterprise softwares like that. So you have to kind of alter it and make it work. You have to download apps and in order for things to work flawlessly on the iPhone. Windows Phone, Google Apps does not work that well on a Google phone. I'm sorry, let me say that again. On the Windows Phone, Google Apps don't work that well because Google, they are reluctant in wanting to create apps for a Windows Phone, like Google Docs, Google Sites, even a YouTube app that Microsoft had to design so that users of Windows Phone can look at YouTube videos. They redid if anybody has a Windows Phone and they have a YouTube app on there, it should have been updated or somehow you should have been notified where instead of being just a simple tile link to the mobile website, it's actually a full-fledged app. But Microsoft designed it, not Google. Google did not design that app. Google, I'm sure that Microsoft is willing to let go of the app if Google's willing to take it over and add some of their own finesse to it. Okay, but at this time, Google they're not designing any apps for Windows Phone at all. And you know why? Come on now, you can't be. You have to be really stupid to if you don't understand why Google doesn't want to do it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. They should do it, if you ask me, but hey, it's about competition, They don't want to give a reason for a person who really wants a Windows Phone, but they also are a user of Google's services to go over to Windows Phone. They don't want to give that a person a reason. So if a person really uses Google, they're going to stick with Android or iPhone with some added apps. Okay? Now, Windows Phone, in my opinion, is the best phone if your company uses Microsoft products. Yes, I know you can download apps to work with SharePoint on Android and iPhone to access, and of course the phones come built in with Exchange. You can download Microsoft Link on iPhone and Android. You can download Skype. There are a lot of different Microsoft applications that Microsoft designed themselves, as well as third-party applications that can access your corporate softwares, whether it's Office 365 or on-premise, just fine. The only problem is Windows, the thing is, okay, I'm not going to say the problem, the thing is Windows Phone out of the box works perfectly, automatically with Office 365 as well as Microsoft Exchange on-premise. And here's how it works, and it's so awesome. Okay, you go to the account settings on your Windows Phone, and all you gotta do is type in your email address that the corporate, that your IT personnel assigned you, and your password that you created, and voila, automatically you have access to your email, calendar, contacts. Okay, iPhone and Android can do that too, right? But also all of your SharePoint documents automatically populate. So you open up Microsoft Office on your Windows Phone, and you have access to all of your SharePoint documents right there. Automatically. So you can browse your SharePoint site on your phone, and it's not the site, you actually can see the documents. And it's so flawless. It's just beautiful. I mean, okay, here's what I did. I went to a Windows Phone store. To a Microsoft store. And I asked them, I said, listen, I really want to see how a Windows Phone works with Office 365. I really got to see this. And she allowed me to add my Office 365 credentials to one of the phones that were on display. Automatically. It was so amazing. And it even asked me if I wanted to install. Now, Link is not automatically installed on a Windows Phone. But it will ask you. It will say, do you want to install Link on this phone too? We'll do it for you. Yeah. So I didn't install Link, so I said, no, don't install Link because it's not my phone. And I went ahead and I saw that I had all my Exchange. Now, a Windows Phone handles Exchange like no other phone. There is no phone better than Exchange on a Windows Phone. I have an Android, and it handles it well, but it doesn't do everything I want it to do. I had an iPhone 3GS, and it doesn't really handle Microsoft Exchange the way I like it. A Windows Phone is almost like working with Microsoft Outlook. Almost. Not entirely, but it kind of gave me that Outlook type feeling. It just looked better. It just felt great. It was so flawless, and because it's a Microsoft product, of course Microsoft's going to do a good job with Microsoft Exchange on a Windows phone. Of course. Who knows better than Microsoft when it comes to how Exchange works on a Windows phone or Outlook.com, Live, Hotmail, whatever. So it works great. And then I went to Microsoft Office on a Windows phone, and all my documents, and it took a minute, it was like, done. Because I had to, read from the server, and then I clicked on one of the files that were on my server, a file that I uploaded, and I was able to open it up on SharePoint, and it showed a mobile version of my document. I was able to edit it. So I did a couple edits here and there, and I inserted a picture, and lo and behold, I went over to a Microsoft Surface wasn't out at the time. It was right before the Surface came out. But I walked over to one of the computers that were on display. It was a Windows 7 computer, touch screen, and I logged into my Office 365 account. And sure enough, in Office Web Apps, I saw the edits that I did on my Windows phone. Edited on my on the computer. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And so. Now, right now I have an Android, and I use my Android to do all my videos. In fact, I want to start the recording now. In fact, you're going to see this in my vlog. I'm opening up the video camera now, and I'm going to start the recording. Oh, I need some light. Hold on for a second. I'm in the garage. In fact, let me go and open my garage door. I want to walk outside for a second. Okay, right now I'm doing a audio cast for sHiZ, and I'm also recording video, sHiZ, and I'm just recording myself doing this audio log on this Philips DPM 9600 device, and it's a wonderful device actually. I'm at one. Can you see that? Okay, on video I'm actually showing the screen. I'm at 1 hour and 10 minutes and 7 seconds of this recording. And on video, you're looking at me right now recording this video. So this is pretty cool, right? And it's recording. There's the memory card. Okay, enough of that. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. So I'm stopping it now. Okay, but I have an Android now, and the Android 2.3, it's a Huawei Ascend II. Okay, it's not the, I don't have at this time I don't have a Samsung phone or HTC phone and all that stuff. I just have a Huawei right now, and one thing that's good is that Huawei and Nokia are coming up with some very low-priced phones. Low-priced phones to where for Nokia Lumia, I think it's the 520, it's going to be $150 out of the box, like no contract. You just walk up to the store, buy the phone, unlocked, okay, and and there's your phone. You got a phone for $150. $150. Now, it's not the top of the line phone. It doesn't have all the awesome features that the Nokia Lumia 920 has, or even the 820. But for $150, I can have a Windows phone. I'm going to get that. I'm excited about that because it's awesome. And then Huawei is coming up with a Windows phone it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be extremely cheap for anybody to buy. So people in any country can buy, where money is not that great, can buy a Windows phone just like you can do with Android now. And I think that's one reason why Android is doing a little bit better than iPhone. iPhone is still a big price commodity, okay? But it's expensive. The cheapest iPhone, if you want to get the latest one, it's like $400, $300 probably for the the lowest amount of memory. You can go up to $600 on the iPhone. It's expensive. Of course, here in America, you got to remember this, people. Only in America and maybe a couple other countries are the phones subsidized. Which means you go to a AT&T store, for instance, and you buy the phone for like $100, and then there's your phone. But the phone actually costs like $400 or $500. AT&T paid for that phone, hoping that you meet and finish your 2-year contract. Eventually, you end up paying more for the phone because you got the phone on loan. It's like they loaned you the phone. It's like, here, the phone is still ours, but you can have it. Here, we'll let you borrow it. And then after 2 years, it's yours because you paid for it. Well, actually, just let you know, folks, the phone is paid for within 1 year. That's why if you have to, if your credit's not that great and you have to put down a deposit, let's say you have to put down like a $500 deposit, that already paid for the phone. But they'll hold on to it, and at the end of the year, they give you your entire $500 back after 1 year. But you still got to finish out that 2-year contract. That's how they make money. So you're paying twice as much for the phone. That's why T-Mobile doesn't subsidize anymore. You got to they have like a plan where you can pay a little bit more on your phone bill to pay for the phone, but it's not subsidized as much. So here's what you got to look at is that Windows Phone being so cheap now that a lot of people now have a choice. If you don't have a big budget, a lot of people got Android phones because Android was cheaper. You didn't get top of the line Android like the Galaxy S3 or 4. You didn't get top of the line like the Note 1, 2, and 3. But you were able to buy an Android phone and get a lot of the same features that the high-end phones had. You at least get 720p HD recording, 5-megapixel camera, which is good enough, with a little flash on it. But with the Windows Phone coming out, with the Huawei and the Kia coming out with lower price phones, you can now also own a Windows Phone. iPhone has yet to do that. They are very, they are snobs. I tell you, they are like snobs when it comes to iPhones. The Apple iPhone is too damn expensive. And here's what I mean by too damn expensive. There's no other option. They don't have another phone that's cheaper. So let's say, for instance, if iPhone said this, hey, we got a $200 phone that you can buy. Doesn't have as many features as the iPhone 5 does, but it's called the 5. I don't know, they can call it the iPhone 5 A, something like that. Well, on the top of my head here, iPhone 5A. And iPhone 5A is only $200, but if you have $400, $500, you can get the better iPhone. Or if you get it subsidized, you get the iPhone 5A for free, the iPhone 5S for $400, and iPhone 5X for $600, which is even better than the iPhone 5S. Maybe more memory. I don't know. Just top of my head. I'm just kind of thinking this top of my head here. Sorry, allergies. And so this is what I'm talking about. Now people have options. Before it was just Android. If you wanted a smartphone, the only thing that you can get was Android if you were low on a budget. But now you have a choice. You have a choice now to get a Windows Phone or an Android, and that's going to put the competition between Google and Microsoft really well. There's a lot of competition now. You notice that people are going with Samsung, then they're going with, like Motorola or ACC. So even Google buying Motorola is not helping Google any. In fact, Google doesn't really make money in anything else but Google search. Believe it or not. YouTube, Android, and Chromebooks, all that are they're spending money on that. But they use the money from Google Search to help subsidize those other departments that Google runs. Same thing with Microsoft. Bing Search is not making that much money. In fact, it's losing money. But they make so much money in other departments that those other departments are subsidizing to keep Bing running, and other services that Microsoft has that doesn't make as much money as it should, like Windows Phone development and stuff like that. So they have to funnel money from other departments in order to keep all those other things running. And a lot of companies do that. They do. To keep something running, to keep an old barrel rolling, they have to, borrow some from other places in order to keep that thing running. But the thing is that Windows Phone, I believe, is the best phone for a Microsoft services that your company has. If you use Windows Live, get a Windows Phone. Yeah, or Outlook.com or whatever they call it. It's Outlook.com now, but people know it as Windows Live and Hotmail, stuff like that. If you use those services, a Windows Phone will work way better for you. If you love Xbox, get a Windows Phone. Now, you probably won't be able to play Medal of Honor on there, but you can play other games, like you're at a train station, you're waiting for the train, you can play other games, and it will add that information to your achievement score on Xbox Live. So you play on your phone while you're out and about, you come home, you play on your Xbox, and all your achievements are still being calculated, and people are seeing what you're doing. Your friends, all your Xbox friends are saying, oh, yeah, you're achieving pretty high. How did you do that at work? Oh, I played some Tetris at work, or whatever. I'm not a game player. I don't play games. I'm not that familiar with games that are available for Windows Phone, or for Xbox, or for anything on the computer, stuff like that. It's just not that familiar. Now, what about Microsoft Surface? Ain't that a nice beauty? The Microsoft Surface, in my opinion, is a beautiful piece of hardware, especially the Windows 8 Pro version. Okay, I'm not talking about the RT. The RT is a good idea, but I don't think it's the best thing because there are not a lot of apps that are available for Windows 8 RT that can make it a viable product to buy on its own. Because in the Windows 8 UI, there aren't a lot. I mean, in the Windows Store, there's not a whole lot of software available for RT. They're just not as compared to like the 200,000 apps that you can download for iPad or Android. And now, when I say 200,000, that means apps that are created just for iPad, like that are made to fill up the screen. You can run any iPhone apps on the Android, on the iPad. I mean, let me say that again. You can run any small screen iPhone or iPod Touch apps on an iPad, but it's scaled. So imagine, if you take something real small and you stretch it, that's basically what the iPad's doing. Okay, so you have access to all 600,000 apps. 200,000 of those are specifically made just for iPad, which means that that's a lot of apps. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of things on there. Android the same way, same thing. There's like 200,000 or so apps for Android tablets, and there's probably like 500,000 apps for the Android phones. Windows Phone, they're up to 147,000 apps for Windows Phone, and it's much, much less for Windows 8 RT. On Windows 8 RT, you can only download apps from the Windows Store. You can't just download something from a company, from somebody's website and be like, hey, I just want to install this. No, it doesn't work that way. In order for it to work, you need to have Windows 8 Pro or Home Edition that you can install on a laptop. But if it's a Microsoft Surface, you can get the Windows 8 Pro version of Windows 8, and then you can run desktop applications that you can download from anywhere. But the Windows 8 UI, which also runs on Windows 8 Pro, you can only get from the Windows Store. And so that's the thing is that what's holding Microsoft back when it comes to Windows Phone and when it comes to Windows 8 is the lack of apps in Metro style. I really want to get a Microsoft Surface Windows 8 Pro tablet. I would love to get that. I think that would be so cool because then I can play with the Windows 8 UI, which I think is gorgeous, but also go into the desktop and run all the applications that I'm used to running because those companies have not created Windows 8 versions yet. But the Microsoft Surface is a damn good idea. The only problem was a lot of things that people brought up was that now they're in direct competitions with their OEMs. Okay, now here's the difference. Apple, they make their own hardware and they make their own software. They don't allow anybody to develop hardware for their software. So it's not like they have HP or IBM or other people trying to create hardware for Apple products. Apple does it themselves. Good idea, right? Because Apple knows how the OS works, with what. They know what to do with it. They know how their software works. But with Apple, that's it. You're only stuck with that one hardware developer, Apple, and you're running an Apple OS. Now with Android, Google does have a hardware developer. They got with Motorola, and they also got with another company to design some hardware. And so now you have several choices with Android phone and Android tablets. You got several different choices. You can either get a Nexus, which is a Google product, or you can get the Galaxy, which is a Samsung product, but it's all running the Android OS. Now, the only reason I have a problem with Android OS is that it's too different. There's no consistency. There's no flawless. I mean, it doesn't flow. Okay, it's all over the place. I mean, I look at Android and I see a big mess. I don't see a clear path. But a lot of geeks, a lot of nerds like that because you can adjust your Android to make it your own. You can pretty much mend it and just mess it up, and it's open source, so you can pretty much do whatever you want with an Android, and it's legal. You try to crack iPhone, and then you got the FBI knocking down your door. Okay, same thing with Windows Phone. A lot of people like iPhone because it is standardized. It is standard. Every phone is alike, depending on what model it is. If an iPhone 5S come out, another person who has an iPhone 5S, it is exactly the same. The only difference is the settings and the apps they have installed. But the operation is the same. It cannot be changed. It can be changed, if you break it and hack it, but it cannot be changed in a normal sense, okay? So it stays consistent no matter who has the device. It's very consistent, and the changes from one version to another is very minimum. There's not a whole lot between iPhone 4 and iPhone 5. There are some hardware changes and updates. There's some software updates and more features, but it's not so much to where people are like, huh? Wow, it's not like going from Windows Mobile 6 to Windows Phone 7. Bam, a big difference, right? Right? Windows Mobile 6.5 to Windows Phone 7.0 was a major upgrade. That's like a, bam, we're going to throw this in your face. How about Metro? How you like Metro now? So, but I can see where Microsoft's going with this. They're trying to create uniformity in every product they release. It's uniform, it's flawless, it's quick, it's smooth. And the whole idea of Metro was simply that. When you're out and about and you're looking at bus symbols and signs, everything is pretty much uniform. You like the New York subways. You got the circles and with the numbers in it. You got the squares with the letters in it, and you can just look at something even from a distance and see exactly what it is it's trying to tell you. Like right now, I'm sitting in front of the house and I see a stop sign. Now my eyes aren't that great. I can't see the word stop, but I see the stop octagon, and I know that is a stop sign and that I got to make a stop if I'm driving or riding a bike. The symbols are the same, and so when you're in the Windows 8 environment, the symbology the symbology is the same in every app, which creates a uniformity that makes it just a beautiful product, and it works flawlessly and it's quick. A good app developer can make a really awesome app in Windows 8 and make it look beautiful, and it's clean, and it's flawless. But just like any app, it takes a good developer to make a good app. That's just the way it is, right? And a lot of people complain that Windows 8 or Windows Phone 8 and Windows 8 doesn't have quality apps. Now, do they mean that they don't understand how Windows 8 work because they're so used to how things run on Android and iPhone? I don't know. But if you look at the different apps that are available for iPhone and Android, there is no uniformity in the apps development because an application developer can make an app do whatever they want. You click on the icon that's on the screen, to open up an app, and then once it opens, the operation of how that app works is not uniform to how the OS works. But on the Windows Phone, it is uniform. When you're in the main menu, you're looking at a Metro-style app or Metro-style OS. You launch an app, and it's still in that Metro style. Developers do have the capabilities of making apps that don't look nothing like Metro, like the new Facebook app that Facebook's trying to put out for Windows Phone. But overall, an app developer kind of wants to stay in that same format so that it works flawlessly. And it's that uniformity. And that's what I like about Microsoft Office 365. One place to store your documents, and that's SharePoint. So, and this is why I like SharePoint so much. I know I'm kind of jumping here, but I want to kind of wrap this up a little bit. But I just want to say something about SharePoint. The reason I like SharePoint so much is because at a workplace, you create a document, and let's say without SharePoint, you email it to your boss. Your boss then emails it to his director and another person, the owner. The director emails it to a screen, to the person who can screen it, but the owner also sends it off to his wife. Or I'm just kind of giving an example here. And everybody's editing different documents, and it all comes back to you got 10 different attachments, all with different information. You need to go through all 10 of those attachments to figure out who did what and put it all back together again, which takes a lot of time and work. Now, this is efficiency here. We're talking about efficiency. If I send you an email, I don't attach the email. This saves a lot of server space too. I don't have to attach that document to the email. All I got to tell you is, hey, go to SharePoint and go to this particular team site and open up a document called projections.docx. Okay, or projections. It will just say projections for 2014. They can all go to that document, even at the same time. Open up that document, and every one of those people can edit it, and it saves back to the same location. Whether they're using a Microsoft Surface, a Windows 8 tablet, or laptop, or desktop, or a Macintosh, or an Android device, it doesn't matter, because you can do it on any device. Edit it, save it, and then they can send an email and say, okay, I finished making my edits, tell me what you think about it. And someone else will say, I did some edits too, tell me what you think about that. They can all be in the document at the same time, up to I think 10 people or something like that. There's a limit to how many people can be in the document at the same time, but okay, up to a certain amount of people. But at least they can do it. And then the person that originally created the document can see all the changes that are done immediately, which makes things more efficient, more proficient, and more uniform. And that is the vision that Microsoft has for the corporate businesses as well as consumer. If people actually sat back and looked at what Microsoft is trying to do, you will see that Microsoft is trying to create a more uniform platform for both consumer and the business. They already got the business down pat. Right now, they're working on the uniformity of the consumer-based products. And it's going to be awesome. I'm telling you right now, you haven't seen nothing yet. And I think this next iteration of Office 365 is just a step. Because this is like the second iteration of Office 365 that just came out. I think that the third iteration is going to be even more mind-blowing. So I just can't wait to see how that's going to go. There's a lot more I want to say, but right now I'm at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 46 seconds on this recording. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this. This is sHiZ.us. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like. If you're listening to it from the website, there's 5 stars in the top left. Just click on the 5th star and make sure I get the 5 stars on that article. Or make a comment at the bottom. It's discuss commenting system. Just make a comment. Tell me what you think. And you can log in with your Facebook or Twitter account, or just log in with your Discuss account if you have one. Or you can actually make a comment as a guest. Okay? That's a good thing too. Now, if you're on YouTube listening to this, because I'm going to create a video, I'm going to get the audio file, but create a video file from it so that I can upload the whole podcast on YouTube. So if you listen to this on YouTube, just simply make a comment in the YouTube comments below. Or I'm going to tweet this out as well. Reply or retweet or reply to the tweet. And also a Facebook post as well. You can always reply to the post on my personal Facebook page as well as my sHiZ page. So you can actually reply to it and listen to it on YouTube or on my site, and wherever else I can place it, I'll put it on there as well. But yeah, I want to say everybody have a good day, good night, and it was a pleasure speaking to you. I'm going to do more of these. This is going to make it fun, and I can always pick up the voice recorder as long as I have it, and I can go from there. So everybody have a good day. This is sHiZ.us. Let's go to sHiZ.us to sign up to become a member. If you want the direct link is sHiZ.us/sign up. And one word, sign up. And you can sign up to become a member of sHiZ. I would appreciate if you do become a member so we can communicate. My email address is hitmeup@sHiZ.us. Our YouTube page is youtube.com/TwizShiz, TwizShiz. You can also go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TwizShiz, as well as twitter.com/TwizShiz, TwizSi. Let me say that again. TwizShic. Or you can just go to sHiZ.us. It's sHiZ.us. Everybody have a good night. My name is Antonio Edward. This is a production of sHiZ Media. Longer, Why Not Media Productions. That's going to get changed. This is now a production of sHiZ Media. All rights reserved. Copyright 2013. Peace out.
Don't forget to like this video.
sHiZ.